I wanted to be part of history, I guess, and I followed the campaign trail. I was addicted to that campaign trail. It was so exciting, and when Obama finally won, and I'm fortunate because I have two sisters and one brother living in the DC area, so I thought it was a great chance to be some kind of part of history, and so I booked a week's holiday, and away I went. And I guess the celebration started on the Sunday, where me being a huge Stevie Wonder fan, I thought I wanted to go to the inauguration concert that was held at Lincoln Memorial. And my sister said, "Oh, we're gonna have to get up very early." I thought, oh no," because it was really cold when my flight landed, and you could tell the excitement because even on the plane, there were whoops and hollering when the pilot announced, Have you all come for the Obama inauguration?" And the plane erupted in celebration and stuff. So, but it was very cold. And anyway, we arrived at the on the, by the side roads or Lincoln Memorial about 7:30 in the morning, and it was packed. The queue was just snaking all the way down near to the White House. It was that well packed, and I looked around me and I saw all these young college students, and I thought, "Oh my God, what am I doing here? What have I done to my sisters?" Because they're in their 50s. But we braved the cold and we queued up, and when the gates finally opened, we dashed to the as near as we could get it, and the concert didn't start till 2 o'clock, so we sat down eating our energy bars and drinking from our flasks. But when it actually started, it was fantastic. It was Mary J. Blige, Stevie Wonder, Jay-Z, and the rest of them. It was an incredible experience. And so that was like a trial run for the Tuesday morning, and we got up at 4 o'clock. And my other sister picked us up because she couldn't make it. She had to work that day, unfortunately, but she said she would drop us down there. And it was me, my other sister Margaret, two of my nephews, one of my nephews, his wife, and various cousins, and we all crowded into this people carrier, and about 12, 13 of us kind of jumped out and leaped out, and we made, because some of the trunk roads going into Washington DC, they were all closed off, so we had to walk about 3, 4 miles. And even then, even in the dark, it was 5:30 when we got down there, I think it was, when we got out of the van. Even then, streams of people just coming from all directions, streams of people. And the amazing thing was there were all-night restaurants still open, and bars and Starbucks and places like that, coffee houses still open. They must have made a roaring trade through that night. And the closer we got, the bigger the crowds became. We came to the monument, Washington Monument, and it was packed already. We could not believe it. There was people just milling around trying to find a good spot already. And so we couldn't get a lot closer than that. And so after waiting for a few hours or so, we decided that we really want to see the president and his wife close up. So we made a decision to go on the parade route. And again, we had to queue up again, go for security checks and what have you. And the first place where we queued up, we could not get entrance, so we went to another part and we gained entrance there. I think that was about 10:30, 11. And then we waited. We heard the inauguration address from Obama, and everyone cheered and went wild and done crazy things, jumped up in the air, and blankets went flying. And then the parade actually started. And we was all saying to ourselves, "Please come out here where we are. Please come out here where we are," because there was a rumour in the crowd that he's going to step out of the car and perhaps walk the rest of the way to the White House, and everyone was very excited about that. Unfortunately, he stepped out of his I don't know, 6-inch thick door car about 30 yards away from us, and he was waving to the crowds. And Michelle came up. She was in that green dress of hers. And the crowd really got excited. I mean, the scenes were incredible because there was people on the roofs of all these state buildings. It was an incredible sight, and they must have been frozen up there, but I guess they had the best view in the business. And we were trying to chase up and try and get abreast of where they were, and our blankets are falling over and our gloves are falling off and our hats are left in our wake, and just to try and get close. And I think one of my sisters, they dropped their camera and oh no, they picked it up again and they tried to, you know, it was all a bit of a kind of madcap scene from a Marx Brothers film, but we got our shots. We got our shots, and we felt it was all worth it because the crowds were, they were so nice. Like for instance, if you ran out of coffee in your flask, there was always somebody next to you who was willing to pour into your cup. There's always someone trying to locate someone who they'd lost, and the crowd would try and find that person. Like, what do they look like? And the person would say they was wearing a white scarf, a black hat, and so on and so on. And then that news would go along through the crowd, and all of a sudden, the person they're looking for would come forward. It was that kind of day where people was very nice to each other. There was an air of celebration. The atmosphere was so nice. And so I was so glad that I was there.
Did you meet anybody from further afield than you?
Oh yes, I met people from Brazil, I met people from Nigeria, I met people from Australia, I met people from Finland, I met people from South Carolina. You know, it was just everywhere in the world they were there. It seemed they were there, and it was just like a world celebration.
What was the moment that will stick in your mind the most?
The speech. It was spine tingling. Everyone just stood silent. You know, all the flag waving had kind of paused, and everyone just stood silent and just took in every word what he said. And I thought it was a fantastic address that included everybody. And it was quite something to be there and listen to that, and to actually see a black man being president of the United States is a wonderful thing.
Did anything happen that you found? I mean, you just said that the crowd would help if someone lost their child or whatever. Was there anything quite unusual, or just what was the craziest thing you saw?
The craziest thing? Oh dear, I saw a lot of crazy things that day. The crowds really just, I mean, some of them were so old, so young, but they all wanted to be there, you know? It was quite a sight, and I guess it was maybe 6:30 that morning, and people trying to get through to the parade route or trying to get closer to the I think it was the west side of the capital, and it's all queuing up, and the patience people displayed on that day was quite incredible. That was the most incredible thing I think I've witnessed, is the patience and the courtesy of everybody involved in that huge crowd.